Hey guys, how's it going? So let me explain what's going on here. This is Bloons Tower Defense Battles Episode 7, and basically this is only geared towards newer players. Now if you're a pretty advanced player here, this is probably not one of the best things you want to watch, but I'd still appreciate it if you wanted to watch. That's totally fine by me. What I did was, for this episode, I basically tried to use all of the towers that you first start off with and tried to do pretty well with them. And the reason why I did that is because there's a lot of new players coming in here and not really understanding the game and not really knowing what to do with these craptastic towers. So I'm going to try and explain to you guys what we're going to be doing and why you should be using these towers to your advantage. Now first of all, I want to explain to you that these are not that great of towers. They can be used somewhat effectively sometimes, but overall they're just not good. I don't recommend using them all the time. If you have the 300, 400, 500 battle points, don't use these towers that you start off with. You want to start using boomerangs and stuff like that. But if you're just starting off, this is what you're going to do. Basically, you have 4 towers, or really realistically, I think you can start off with a cannon as well. But what you have is dart monkeys, tack shooters, snipers, and ninjas. And what are you going to use and when are you going to use it? Well, first of all, let me explain to you that you're weak, okay? So your basic plan isn't to be the strongest, to have the strongest defense ever. You want to have a better offense than your defense. So, that being said, realistically, you're trying to beat the other person, you're not trying to outlast them, okay? And the best way to do that is usually with some sort of rush, looking at their defense, finding out what's wrong with it, and sending a rush that's going to beat it. So I think understanding the concept of what's going to beat your opponent is more important than actually making towers that are going to make you survive. But now, that being said, you need to have a basic understanding of what towers are good and what towers are bad. So, let's start off here, guys. I am on round 4 right now, and I'm basically just building tack shooters. Dart monkeys can be somewhat effective, but it seems like they're really glitchy sometimes, and I don't recommend using them all the time. Maybe use one of them, maybe use 2 of them, but that's really about all you're going to get. Tack shooters should be your main popping power when you start off with these not so great towers. 3-0 tack shooters are really good, guys. I recommend going mostly 3-0 tack shooters and then some blade shooters as well, which are 2-3 tack shooters. Those blade shooters have more popping power overall, but tend to miss just a little bit more and are more expensive. So that's the real problem there. You probably don't want to make too many blade shooters just because they are so expensive. But I don't know, they're both pretty good. You probably want to make a couple of each of them. Now what you're noticing is I'm actually still sending out a bunch of balloons at my enemy here. So what you're going to do is, because you're weak, you want to get a pretty decent economy here, guys. You want to send balloons out at your enemy until about round 6. You probably don't want to send out too many more balloons after about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Now I'm doing this a little bit different because I'm a little bit more of an advanced player and I feel like I can make a comeback even if I do send out balloons past 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But what I do recommend for most of you guys is try and stop right around 2 minutes and 30 seconds because games usually don't last more than 5 minutes. And if you understand the concept of the game, you want to stop sending out balloons 2.5 minutes before. It's kind of complicated, but 2.5 minutes before the exact time you're going to send out your giant rush to beat your enemy. And that's the basic plan, is usually sending out a giant rush to beat your enemy, not sending out some 2 balloons here and 2 balloons there. That's usually not going to do anything. So, and the reason why you do that, just so you guys can understand, is for sending out balloons at your enemy, you do get economy for sending out your balloons at your enemy, but you're hurting your economy at the current time to make it better for later. And what happens is at exactly 2.5 minutes after you send your last balloon, you make your money back, plus all the money you've made before. So basically your max economy is the exact time, 2.5 minutes after you send out your last balloon. So realistically, you want to try and find out when your game is going to end or when you're going to send out your giant wave of balloons. And 2.5 minutes before that, you want to stop sending out balloons. And now it's kind of counterintuitive because you don't know when you're going to send out your giant wave. You can only guesstimate when you're going to do that, and usually it's right around 5 minutes or so. So that's why I say stop at 2.5 minutes. It's right around round 6. Usually, obviously, times change. So what you're going to notice here is I'm building a bunch of tack shooters. That's going to be my main popping power, but also you have 2 other weaknesses that can come on round 12, and that is camo leads, which means you need a sniper monkey, which I have, as you can see. You need your sniper monkey for camo leads, and you want some other camo detection, whether it's a dart monkey or a ninja. I recommend going ninja, some sort of 3-2 ninja or something. Now, I realize you guys are weak versus camo, okay? So that's your problem right now. You're weak versus camo. So level 13, this is when you need to spring into action here. You need to try and defend level 12, and then level 13 is when you need to go, I need to win right now. So, to win, usually what you want to send out is some sort of rush of rainbow balloons mixed with rainbow regens. And if they have a spike factory or something, usually sending out rainbow regens is not economically efficient, if that makes sense, because you don't have any time for them to regen. That's why I first sent out a bunch of regen balloons, and then I switched up and first I sent out a bunch of regular rainbow balloons, and then I sent out a bunch of rainbow regen balloons, which just were the finishing touch in making him just get overwhelmed. So here's my second game. This is the exact same level, so I realized I didn't go too level crazy with this. I didn't do all 4 or 5 levels or anything. This is only 3 games, and 2 of them are on the same level. The third one might be a little bit more interesting for you guys, because that is on the new map. But basically, you're going to see the exact same strategy here, guys. I'm going to start off with some tack shooters, and then I'm going to send some sort of big wave of balloons at him that I think is going to beat him. This one was a little bit different, because technically, my big wave of balloons actually didn't beat him. I had to send a second big wave of balloons to actually overtake him, which I could say I got a little bit lucky with him not sending too many balloons out at me that would actually beat me. Now, the one thing I want to recommend to you guys is, as soon as you can, since you're a new player, or if you are a new player, get some boomerangs, guys. They're really cheap. They only cost like 30 medallions or something like that, so you really only got to play like 5-10 games tops to be able to afford boomerangs, and then get your boomerangs, okay, guys? Get them, get them, get them. Boomerangs are freaking amazing. If you've seen my other episodes, you notice I always start off with boomerangs, and I almost always finish with boomerangs too. So, they're good. Tack shooters, they're good, but boomerangs are better, okay? So now what you're going to notice here is I went with a little bit more camo detection a little bit earlier on here. I went with a ninja monkey, and I do recommend going with some sort of ninja monkey reasonably early so you don't waste all your money and then all of a sudden come out and be like, well, I didn't have any camo detection, because that's bad. You don't want to get overwhelmed with not having any camo detection. It can be bad news. So what you're noticing here is I'm still sending out a bunch of balloons at my enemy. And I'm sending out balloons because, as I said before, you get more economy. Now what you're going to notice here is he tried to send a rush of pinks at me to try and get some damage on me, get some life lost on me. It really didn't affect me too much. He got a couple lives here, but it's really not too bad. I'm still getting economy here. I'm still sending lots and lots of balloons out at him, and I'm still got a pretty good defense here. He really can't beat me too much. Now, one thing you guys can also be a little bit weak against, if you're going mostly tack shooters, is getting regen balloons sent at you, which you'll notice what I did here was kind of interesting. It's kind of out of the ordinary for me, but it actually worked reasonably well, and you guys will see what actually happened. I think it distracted him long enough for me to actually end up beating him, and you'll see how I beat him pretty soon here. It's pretty interesting. You need to understand, like I said before, that your defense isn't as important as your offense here, guys. If you're just learning here, learn to get a good offense, have a reasonable defense, and you'll do a lot better. If you know what to send at your enemy, you'll know how to beat them, and you can usually last long enough where you won't have to worry about your defense too much. So yeah, I'm just massing a couple tack shooters here. Of course, I got my ninja up here, and I actually got a 3-1 ninja. You can get a 3-2 ninja as well, but it's really not totally important. Sometimes it's actually bad because regen balloons can actually regen even more if you actually have a 3-2 ninja. Distraction actually sends balloons back at your enemy. So what I did here is I sent out a rush of white camo balloons at my enemy here. And that was interesting because I noticed he only had 1 tower. I was like, oh, I can do some damage on him, if not win the game. And then he realized, oh my god, I need to get some towers here. So we ended up going with a 3-2 cannon here to start killing some of my white regen balloons that I'm sending at him. If I sent some black regen balloons as well, I probably would have done a lot more damage. Sadly, I already sent a bunch of white regen balloons because I thought I was actually going to beat him with that, but he actually went with a bunch more 3-2 cannons and got 2 3-2 cannons and a glue gunner here. And we're already on round 10, so what's going to come up soon, guys? Camo balloons. Camo balloons. So I'm laying low here. I'm being all secretive. He doesn't have any camo detection. I have a little bit of camo detection, but a regen camo rush can still beat me. So, this is where you have to be careful. He spent all of his money, pretty much, trying to beat that rush, and I'm like, uh-oh, he has no camo detection. I gotta be secretive here. I just sent out a bunch of blues and then some pinks behind that to try and beat him all at once. That was my basic plan here. got a few waves of pinks through. He has no cam detection. He could sell things and try and rebuy stuff that has cam detection, but realistically, he just left himself too open. I was keeping him busy thinking about other things, and just kind of was able to overtake him just a little bit too easy. And then here, coming up, is the third game, which is on the new map, which I still don't know the name of that new map. Sorry about that, a little bit of editing error. I sadly will not be able to fix that because I'm commentating over this. But, yeah, this guy was actually reasonably good. He had a battle score of 792, so that's pretty high there. He has all the towers unlocked, and that means he's got spike factories and monkey planes and super monkeys and all that, anything he wants. But I'm just using the 4 basic towers that you start off with, so it's going to be a little bit of a tough game here, but fun nonetheless. So we started off with the Tac Factory, and that's a reasonable move to make, but I don't think it's that fantastic, because guess what we're going to do, guys? We're going to send out a bunch of balloons at him. Of course, that's what we're going to do, guys. If you're a new player, you want to send out balloons. If you don't have banana farms, you got to send out balloons. That's your main economy. Keep that up. So, of course, I started off with the 3-0 tac shooter. 3-0 tac shooters are reasonably good, and they're reasonably priced, so they're good. And what I noticed is here, he started off with the banana farm. So he's trying to go economy, and I'm like, okay, well, if he's going to go economy, I need to send out balloons at him. So I just start sending out a bunch of red balloons at him, pretty much as fast as possible, getting as many as I can to try to do some early damage on him. Even if you do only 10-20 lives of damage, that's 10-20 lives of damage you don't have to do later, because you never know when you're going to have that game where he has 5 lives left. And you wish, what if I just sent out those few extra balloons in the beginning there? You never know. So 2, 3, 3-0 tac shooters are actually really good versus everything up to basically blacks. Blacks, you're gonna lose a few lives here and there, but pinks pinks won't do any damage versus you unless you have some sort of big round coming up as well with him sending pinks at you. So what you're gonna notice here is he went with a couple crazy techniques here. I don't really get them. He went with a 2-0 boomerang and a 0-0 boomerang, I think. And then also that tac factory up there. Really not that fantastic of a defense right now. Nothing against him, but not that fantastic right now. I would have gone with a 2-3 boomerang or a 3-0 boomerang. I think most people would probably do the same here. And he's still not sending any balloons at me, so he's basically sticking off that 1 banana farm for his economy. So I know I have an advantage of economy over him, and I'm still doing some damage on him, so that's pretty freaking sweet. So I'm still sending out my big wave of blues. Make sure you guys learn the hotkeys if you haven't yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, they're just in the row. If you want to use shift, you can. Sadly, I don't use shift because it's kind of hard for me to press those buttons and move the mouse all at once. I don't know. I think they should change the hotkeys, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, so you notice I did a lot of damage to him. I did half the damage to him. He's already got like 70 lives left, so 75, 78 lives he has gone. And I'm still sticking with my 2 3-0 tac shooters because I want more economy. The more balloons I send to him, the more economy I'm going to have. But soon you have to stop with your economy, and that usually means that he can send balloons at you if he wants to, and you're probably going to have to build some towers that defend. Level 8, like I said, be a little bit careful because you never know if that person's going to send some regen blacks or regen whites at you. And they can, sometimes if you don't have a good enough defense, they can just easily overrun you guys, especially with these kind of bad towers. You need enough tac shooters, and you need enough tac shooters all in one spot. And the one thing I do recommend is if you're going mostly tac shooters, don't leave them all scattered out everywhere in the middle of nowhere. Maybe for the beginning rounds you can do that, but once you get to the later rounds, it can be not so great because regen balloons. So now you notice here he's sending out a bunch of blacks at me. He thinks he's going to take me down, and I'm like, ha ha ha, you are funny. No, you're not. Nice try though. So he still did a couple little lives of damage to me, and like I said before, I don't recommend making too many tac shooters in too many different spots. I don't recommend doing that like I did. It was kind of a noob move. I actually do end up selling it because I realized my mistake a little bit later. And what you're going to notice is he has a really weird defense, guys. He's got 2 tac factories, 2 boomerangs, and 2 ice towers. And I'm just like, whoa, that's kind of weird. He's making the rounds last longer, though. So, that being said, I'm like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send out more balloons at my enemy. Now, because that means each round is going to be longer, so I'm going to have more time to save up some money to actually send balloons at him or send some stuff at him and get more towers. So basically what I'm saying is that 2.5 minutes where I said stop at 2.5 minutes, it's kind of gotten altered because I'm probably going to send my big wave right around 6 or 7 minutes here at him instead of 5 minutes. So I can still send balloons at him for another minute, minute and a half, which is a lot more economy than you guys might think. Even though the first round it takes 2 minutes to get an extra 200, maybe 250 economy, once you get to these rounds, you can send out an extra 500, 600 economy in about 2.5 minutes, so it basically doubles. So you're getting a lot more economy here. Now I do notice he has a reasonably good defense here. He's got a 2-3 boomerang and a 3-0 boomerang and a couple random boomerangs in the bottom there. So I'm going to stop sending out balloons. I don't want to get overrun too easily on round 10 or 11 or something like that. And have a bunch of balloons just come at me and me just be mad because I lost stupidly. You don't want to lose stupidly. So what here is I've basically decided, okay, I need to get some more popping power. I'm going to go with some blade shooters here. I'm going to go with some more 3-0 tack shooters. Got to get them all in one spot. That helps stop the regen balloons. If you pop them all at once, they won't be able to regen into get more powerful later on, where they go by another tack shooter and then another tack shooter and then another one. So I just keep building quite a few here. If you notice, my economy is extremely high. It's actually above 1,000 right now. So yeah, it's like at 1,000 right now, I think. I can't really see. And we're doing really good. Level 13's coming around, and I think I can actually have a reasonably good defense. I got my sniper, like I said, for lead camo detection, and I still have my ninja for other camo detection. He could easily send a big rush at me right now if he wanted. That was his mistake that he didn't. He probably would have overrun me if he did. You know, like I said, it's better off to have a better offense than a defense, and this is that exact point right here, guys. If he sent balloons at me, I would have died because I don't have enough camo detection here, especially camo regen detection. My sniper would have been able to do some damage, but then my ninja probably would not have been able to clean up the mess. I don't think so. So here's level 15, and guess what we have on level 15? Regen ceramics, and this is the key, guys. If you can't beat it on 13 and you know he has 3-0 boomerangs, you go with regen ceramics. That's your best bet. Hope that they can regen in time and you can get enough damage on your enemy, and that's exactly what happened. I beat him pretty easily with those regen ceramics. So that's all I got for you guys. As always, thank you for watching. Please press like if you can, and have a fantastic day.